Oh my goodness gracious, what a basketball game. Alright, welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we have Cleveland Cavaliers versus New Orleans Pelicans recap, and, it's a little late tonight. I had a late class, but, fucking hell, man. 93-90 for the Cavs tonight without Darius Garland, obviously without, Sexton and Rubio and Markkanen. What was that, 4 starters I just named? So Cleveland right now is extremely short-handed, and you're playing at home. This was a nice win. This was a nice win here. I posted a video earlier today talking about why the Cavaliers should probably make a trade, and I feel like tonight kind of reinforced that. The bench outscored the starters in like almost every single category. Shout out to Brandon Goodwin. This is a guy I made a video about him pretty much right when the Cavs signed him to a 10-day contract, saying, like, my first glimpse from Brandon Goodwin when he first joined the Cleveland Cavaliers is like, this dude is basically the preceptor to, or however the hell that word works, to Ricky Rubio. And then the Cavaliers actually go out and make a trade for Rajon Rondo, who I feel like personally we're still kind of in a, let's wait and see period. It is Rajon Rondo. I mean, they got him for Denzel Valentine, which, is the absolute steal. I'm still hoping the Cavaliers make a move, but before we get into this video, if you guys enjoy, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. But man, Brandon Goodwin really stepped up tonight. The Cavaliers bench in general just really stepped up tonight. You had a really inefficient games from Cedi Osman, just a horrible game from Dean Wade, a terrible game from Evan Mobley. Isaac Okoro and Jared Allen were really just kind of like the 2 out of the 5 starters that did any type of work on the offensive end. And so, how many points did they have going into half? I swear to God, it was like 39 or something, 38 maybe even. It was bad, dude. This was as ugly of a win as you possibly could have imagined. But the good news is Cleveland came into the fourth quarter down by like, 6 points, 8 points, something like that. Kevin Love put on a vintage Kevin Love showing in the fourth quarter. And then, you obviously had Brandon Goodwin. Lamar Stevens made some clutch buckets for them consistently tonight, shooting 5 of 6 from the field. And then, Isaac Okoro, Jared Allen had a huge putback offensive rebound dunk with like a minute left. Kept his composure. I would have liked to see him kind of amp up the crowd a little bit, but I'm not complaining. Man, this Cleveland team, they're grinders. They're gritty, they're grinders, and they find ways to win. They didn't shoot well from the field tonight. They shot terrible from downtown. And, I know it is the New Orleans Pelicans, and the Pelicans got off to just a horrible start to the season, but they're not that bad of a basketball team. They're a little shorthanded right now. But a win's a win. A win is a win. You can't pick who you play. You can't pick who plays for who you play. So a win is a win, and, it is unfortunately, I guess it's a good thing that it's Monday night now, but it's the first day of the damn week, so you're going to take the win. Growing pains. The Cavs team's going to go through growing pains. Guys like Evan Mobley, you're in your freaking rookie year. Unfortunately for me, Evan Mobley's on my fantasy basketball team, so I see 4 points, 5 rebounds, and I'm like, that's not great. Threw in 3 blocks, threw in a steal, had a nice defensive presence tonight, and he had a nice, when it came down to it, at the end of the basketball game, Evan Mobley was there, and you knew his presence was there. Made a couple of, make 2 free throws there close to the end of the game. He got the job done, found a way to get the job done, as ugly as a game as it was. That was just honestly for the starters. If your name wasn't Jarrett, or if your name wasn't Isaac, and you were a starter, you struggled desperately. And I mean desperately. So, Kevin Love tonight, while it took him until basically the fourth quarter to kind of get cooking consistently, he finished with a team high, plus 17 tonight, 15 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists, and throw in 2 blocks, might as well. Kevin Love is just a huge reason to the Cavaliers' success, and I always find it crazy when I get a non-Cavs fan saying, why the hell are you spending so much time on Kevin Love in this video? And it's like, what do you even, like, what am I supposed to do with that information? What do you mean? Like, Kevin Love's been a badass this whole season. It's a renewed, it's this sense of, like, not like youthfulness, but like of excitement and joy. Like, Kevin Love has a smile on his face. He isn't fucking betting that stupid basketball down and causing a transition turnover 3 anymore. Like, this is a good Kevin Love here. This was honestly kind of always how Kevin Love was. The outburst Kevin Love suffered last season was always like, what the fuck's going on here? But Kevin Love, huge reason, maybe you look at it and you didn't watch tonight's game, you might look at his stats and be like, well, he didn't really play good at all. 6 of 15 from the field, 3 of 8 from downtown. I'm not jaw-dropped by that. Well, if you watch the game, fourth quarter, Kevin Love really, really stepped up for him. He gave him buckets when they needed it the most, and 33-24 outscored in the fourth quarter, man. The Cavaliers, like I said, man, dude, they just find ways to win these basketball games. And like I said, dude, it's not always pretty. It is definitely not always pretty. I will let you know that. The loss to the Pistons last night, that was terrible. I mean, that was just absolutely terrible. So keep in mind, you're coming off a back-to-back, and the guys are already shorthanded. They're literally already trying. I mean, they're missing like a bunch of starters. They're missing a critical bench player in Ricky Rubio. Even just like a subtle player like Lauri Markkanen. Like, your outsider guy might not kind of value Lauri Markkanen. I've seen a lot of comments recently saying Lauri Markkanen as their stretch 3 big-ish is really hurting their team. And I'm like, well, I don't really agree with that. I just don't really agree with that. Lauri Markkanen has actually been huge for the Cavaliers, especially in clutch moments, which as a Bulls fan sounds really strange to say at times, but Lauri's been a great piece. And I don't want to disrespect guys like Jetty Osman and Dean Wade, because both of those two cats coming into tonight's game were actually playing very, very consistently solid. Not that consistent last couple of games. They've been getting it going here. But those two players, Dean Wade and Jetty Osman, like in the last 5 or so games, they have done exactly what they needed to do. Tonight, not really so much. But Isaac Okoro, good offensive game tonight. I mean, 2 of 2 from downtown. You'll love to see it. I love his aggressiveness. Obviously, I love his defense. Then Jared Allen is honestly well on his way to just becoming an all-star. If it doesn't happen this year, it'll most likely happen next year. I don't know, though. 31-20. I still ideally, I don't know if I'd like the Cavs to make a trade or a signing, but I'd like them to do something. You won't get Lauri Markkanen back for a little bit. You're not getting Sexton back. You're not getting Rubio back. Lauri Markkanen returning will do a lot for the Cavaliers, though. He does a lot. It's actually kind of crazy. Like I said, as a Bulls fan, it's kind of crazy just hearing those words. Lauri Markkanen being out of your starting lineup does a lot for your team in a negative way, and it's like, wake me up from the dream. That's it for today, guys. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button, hit that sub button. Ugly win. Win's a win. And they'll be celebrating nicely tonight. Peace.